Hello, we're carrying on with comparing decimals like we did yesterday. I'm hoping it's going to be quite straightforward because we've already looked at the tenths and the hundredths. All we're doing today is just adding the ones column. So here we have, I think we've got Sam here, haven't we? Has got 2.21 and here Havana has got 2.16. Now we need to compare them. So what we've done is put them into counters. I've got two whole ones. So far they're the same. I'm then going to the tens column and I can see that Sam has 2 counters, whereas Savannah only has 1. Even though in our hundredths, Sam has 100th column, 100th counter, and Havana has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the tenths are worth more than the hundredths. So the fact that Sam has 2 tenths means that his number must be bigger. So here we have 2.21 is greater than 2.16. Can you see why? Here, it's because Sam has 2 tenths and Havana only has 1 tenth. We've started off by comparing the ones column, they're the same. We've then compared the next column, which is the tenths column, and we can see that Sam's has more, it's bigger. So we know that Sam's number is bigger than Havana's. Let's have a look at this one. We want to arrange these numbers in increasing order. So we're going to start with the lowest number and then go to the highest. So can you remember what we have to do? First of all, we're going to look at our ones column. So here we have 2, 3 and 2. Let's look at those counters. Who has the most ones counters? That's right, it's this one in the middle. So I'm going to get my pen and I'm going to write that one first. So we have 3.14. We know that that is the highest number, so I'm going to put that one at the top. It's the highest number. So to save confusion, I'm just going to cross that one out because I know that I've used that one now. And I'm just going to carry on comparing the first and the last numbers. So let's go back with my pointer. We've dealt with the ones and we know that this last number and this first number have the same amount of ones. Let's go to the tenths column next. So in our tenths column we can see that this number has 1 tenth and this number has 2 tenths. So that must mean that this number here is the second largest. So let me get my pen and I'm going to write 2.22 in my funny finger writing, and I'm going to cross that one out because I know that I've now used that number. So now I know that the first number, the 2.14, must be the lowest number. Now if I was going to put those on a number line, and I'm going to draw a horrible squiggly wiggly line like so, I know that my 2.14 comes first because I'm going in increasing amounts, and next comes my 2.22. That's a better 2, although they're very difficult to do. And last of all, I've got my 3.14, and I've put those numbers in increasing order. I'm just going to do one more with you. Okay, so here we've got Flora and she has 2 numbers. She wants to compare them. She wants to know which is bigger and which is smaller. How can you help Flora with this one? Okay, so we're going to go to our first column, which is our ones, and we can see that Flora has 2 ones. So far they're looking the same. But when we go to the tenths column, we can see that this side only has 1 tenth, whereas this number has 2 tenths. So that means that this number here must be bigger than the first one, I'd write it like this. I would say that 2.22 is bigger than, remember that crocodile eats the bigger number, 2.14. There we go. Another way of doing it without using the counters is just to write the numbers in their place value grid. Now, to compare these numbers from smallest to greatest, I would start off by looking in the ones column. I'd always start off on this side, ones column, and I can see that this number here is the biggest because it has the most ones, and so it's been put here as the greatest number. Now these two have the same amount, so I'm going to go to the tenths column, and I can see that this number here is the second biggest because it has more tenths than the first one, so I would write it here. And this number is the smallest because it has less tenths than this one. So that's another way. I would start with my ones column and compare the digits there. Then I would move to my tenths column and compare the digits there. It's actually quite handy if when you're comparing you cross them out as you go. So I know that this is my biggest number, so I'm going to cross it out and I've written it here. Then I know I'm only comparing the top two numbers. The ones column are the same, but in the tenths, this is larger. So this is going to be my second largest number, and I'm going to write it here, which means the top one must be my smallest. So you can see I've crossed them out as I went, and then there's no confusion. Right, you are going to be doing your own comparing, and I would expect you to be doing some working out for this one. Some of you might be feeling really, really clever and look at it and just know it. But what I want you to do is have a look at the ones column. So you might actually want to write these numbers over each other. It might be easier to do it that way. I might put 2.3 and 1.2 and 3.2 and 1.3. It's really important that our decimal point is always in the same place over each other and that you have your numbers in the right columns. So I can see that, hang on, I'm just recording a lesson, thank you. Sorry, I'm in school at the moment, so I'm just recording and I've got people coming in and out. Right, let's have a look. So which column am I going to compare first? Yeah, you're right, it is the ones column. So let's have a look at the ones column. I can see that the 3 is the one that has the most ones. Let's go back to my question. Circle the greatest number in each box. So I can see that this one here is my greatest number. So I'm going to get my pen and I'm going to circle my greatest number, my biggest number. With question 2, you want to circle the smallest number. So again, I would be putting them above each other so it's easier to compare them. Or you might want to use some Lego as counters and have different colour pieces of Lego to represent ones, tenths and hundredths. Okay, as I say, it should be fairly straightforward. We did do this yesterday. All we've done is added that ones column. So when you start comparing, you're going to be looking in that ones column first. If you get stuck, then just message us. Okay, we're here.